This is Intuitive Astrology, Reverend Dr. Michael Vanderpool. I have published in 2007, the spring, March 18th to be exact, a storm warning for Israel, spring, summer 2007. A very accurate astrological analysis on that situation that occurred in Israel, and down to the day accurate, actually. I've also, in my past astrological heads up on both Facebook and text, and then later in audio on YouTube, April 18th, had accurately forecast the last meeting in Rome between East and West, with tensions over the situation concerning war or UN intervention. And I've also had another recent accurate astrological analysis of the past June trine Pluto effect that started October 7th, 2011, in that it was reported in IBT financial, IBT International Business Times about the financial markets raising across the board, basically. That was reported around October 10th, 2011, and it was citing that probably the cause of that was French President Sarkozy's, along with Germany's Angela Merkel's announcement on their solution for the Euro crisis. And in my last astrological heads up and surprise October 2011, I had talked about in 6 of 6 times studied by the Magi Society of the effects of Jupiter applying to Pluto on the markets. They always maintain overall during that time or go up. I want to make it clear I do not give financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only, as are all the services that I offer. My website is http://universalstar.gs. Privately, in consult to both individuals and to a couple of businesses, I have months, weeks in advance, down to the day or down to the week accurate, been able to give forewarning accurately about accidents, deaths, changes, both positive, negative, in businesses, heartbreaks, as well as the more positive aspects of life in using astrology. In today's astrological heads up, 2012 through 2015, a possible 1933 style worldwide banking and market collapse, question mark. I'm going to give some quick astrological research. I'm going to try to keep it short and simple, and with the intent and the intention in mind that in my personal life and in my personal consultations with others, my purpose is not to be accurate in prediction, although that's something that I've done, down to the day accurate, in very serious situations and very serious life events. My main intent and purpose is to simply give an astrological weather forecast, a cosmic weather forecast. In that, in my own life, for example, in seeing a coming Saturn opposition Sun transit, I knew that could be issues with bones and the blood. And so I went and got some testing done from my local medical doctor, and I found that I had some issues there to take care of. And I began to immediately, in an effort to preempt or to prepare for those possibilities, in testing discovered that yes, there was a problem there. And in those areas, I visited the medical doctor subsequently to do further testing after beginning his prescription, after beginning my protocols for improving my health and diet and exercise and some other methods of applying health and healing to my own life. And then, of course, a follow-up to the dentist, because teeth are certainly a part of bones and have to do, in this day and age, we know, with sometimes blood issues, if there are issues there of certain kinds. In any case, I felt that I was able to catch a problem before it got worse. I was able to have the insight to detect a problem through a visit to my local medical doctor. So in the same spirit and with the same intent, and now are looking back in time, and we're going to go forward in time. And hopefully the individuals, corporations, businesses, or governments who may be listening or have privy to this research and this astrological heads-up can benefit and do the best they can to minimize, manage, or deal with in the best, most positive way possible the astrological research that I'm going to share today and the times ahead that they may indeed affect us the most. And that time ahead is indeed 2012 until 2015. This time is of great concern, possibly, if astrological theory will come into play again. We see a very, very rare aspect that we haven't seen in the period of 1900 and going forward, by the way, all the way until 2040. We see an aspect of Uranus square Pluto that we only see in this entire period of time that I just mentioned between the years 1932 and 1934, where Uranus several times squares Pluto, and nearly going exact Uranus squaring Pluto when the banking moratorium happened in 1933 and the banking crisis and runs and the market economy collapsed in the beginning of the Great Depression. Basically, one can strongly suspect that the Uranus square Pluto was the cause or involved in that effect from an astrological perspective. And I want to make it clear, I do not give financial advice. I offer my services for entertainment purposes only. So we had seen Uranus square Pluto several times between 1932 and 1934 during the Great Economic Depression of that era. Now, previous to that, there was a economic depression in 1907. Astrologers will say that in doing research that Pluto was perhaps also involved in that, but Uranus was not. So that's another factor to keep in mind. When we look ahead, we see, in looking again from 1900 all the way until 2040, the only other time in this period of 1900 to 2040 that we see Uranus square Pluto several times, or at all for that matter, outside of the period of 1932 to 1934, we see in the period of, definitely in June of 2012 was the first time that I can track it using the software that I'm using. We see from June 2012, Uranus begins to square Pluto again, and that happens several times until March of 2015. And I'm looking at geocentric sky in Magi astrology. And I see that it happens in heliocentric sky in November of 2013. Uranus will square Pluto. And in studying astrology really works, pages 18 and 19, I'm understanding that that Uranus will square Pluto nearly exact around April 21st of 2014. So this is a particular point that I personally, as an astrologer, as a researcher of astrology, would be and am most concerned about, but actually the entire period of time from June of 2012 until March of 2015. Why? Because the same Uranus square Pluto is now going to be happening again that happened between 1932 and 1934 during the time of the previous economic crisis and banking collapse. And again, in the entire period between the year 1900 all the way going forward into 2040, the only time that I can track Uranus square Pluto using my software, the software that I have from the Magi Society, the only time that I can see Uranus square Pluto is between 1932, several times in that period until 1934, and again, several times between the period of June 2012 into spring of 2015. So, will it be as it was before? And in Magi astrology and astrological theory, the problem is you see that Pluto represents banks, and to some extent, at least for sure in terms of a co-rulership, the economy or some aspect of the markets. And a simple solution, of course, one would think perhaps maybe that we would not have so much reliance on the banking system in totality. Or another assumption from an astrological viewpoint would be that certainly individually, collectively, we will see that if we ourselves don't have such a strong reliance on the banking system, that the current market system does. And perhaps that's part of the upset or part of the changes that Uranus so strongly in squaring Pluto so many times in the 2012 to 2015 period brings in. And in looking at the situation in totality, again, there was the 1907 financial collapse or economic depression. And again, if we go back to Astrology Really Works, it's pointed out that Pluto again was involved in that it was squared at that time, but Uranus wasn't involved. But in an effort to bring this out, at least to those that are watching my videos, that are visiting my websites, that get consultations with me, I want to share this research in hopes that either, if you're an individual, if you're a corporation, if you're a government, you would have the insight and the foreknowledge of the great possibility of another 1933 style banking collapse or worldwide market collapse in that period. And more importantly, way more importantly, greatly more important, is the possibility of maybe minimizing this altogether. I certainly don't know if it can be prevented. I certainly don't know if it indeed will play out like it did in 1933. But I think knowing the astrological weather, the cosmic weather, if you will, and the effects of these particular aspects that did occur in 1932 to 1934 are important to know and watch out for, and possibly, and definitely most likely, prepare for in terms of making the best of it and trying to minimize any problems. It is the best astrologers who have said that a lot of their clients, it's hard to predict for when they get this higher level of knowledge, because knowing the weather and the currents of the universe, or particularly the currents on this planet, they can often prevent or minimize any such influences. So that would be my hope, and that would be the best that we can hope for, is that we can prevent it or that we can minimize it. But individually, it would, of course, be wise to prepare for that possibility. Collectively, it would be wise to prepare for that possibility. I do want to make a correction to the last astrological heads up that I had given for the September-October window, and again in the October 14th through 28th window. There is one more Jupiter trine Pluto aspect that I found coming ahead. I had previously said we won't see another aspect like this until 2015, and indeed in 2015 we will see another Jupiter trine Pluto, which often seems to have a very positive effect on the markets overall, and is a great time, generally speaking, for reforming and remaking, and for things connected with big business and so on. We will see between February 24th, 2012, and through that period of time until March 13th, 2012, a Jupiter trine Pluto in the sky above. And it will end with a grand trine, a very powerful grand trine, from the period of March 9th until about March 13th or so. And that grand trine will be double conjunct of a Jupiter conjunct Venus, trine Pluto, trine Mars. So that's very nice. But after that, as I mentioned, in June, particularly the 24th of 2012, we will begin to experience and see in the sky above Uranus squaring Pluto, and which will continue off and on several times until spring of 2015. And again, we haven't seen this very, very rare aspect in the last 111 years, except in the period of 1932 to 1934. So that's the astrological heads up. I hope this helps for those that are interested in this type of research, and I hope that we can make the very best of it. I strongly recommend the book Astrology Really Works, and again, you can refer to the pages 18 and 19. And I want to thank the Magi Society for providing their websites, the books, and software that they do. I want to say again, I'm not giving financial advice. I don't give financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. But I do hope that this helps those with an interest in astrology, and I would encourage you to check out that book and Magi Society's websites for further information on this type of research, or my own website at http://universalstar.gs, or OMSH, that's OMSH, Books and Services. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for listening.